You got to put it in a trust. Because guess what is happening today? This is so timely to what we've been speaking about with the digital concentration camp and registering or owning your names. Not only that, your social media.
It is scary. Oh, it is scary. They have the forever license. They can take the privacy that you're giving up. They can, without your consent, they can use your face, your voice, and to train their AI models.
Correct.
That's what Cobby did. You know Cobby?
I said,
Cobby
what?
just got 900 million?
Yes.
For his likeness forever. He sold his, and he's the biggest TikTok.
They can use it. Says no.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? See, family, most of the world don't know what to do. They're saying they're living in scary times. But if you are learning what we're learning here at the Power of Consent, you're not scared. Because you know that you got the solutions now. No more excuses. Excuse me. You can put, yes, if your property is mortgaged, you can put it in trust. We go into that. You can still put it in trust. And that means your family, your loved ones will inherit your property without any tax inheritance being levied upon it. Oh my God, we got to understand the game. But all of us that are on social media, you got to put your digital property in trust.
No truth guaranteed. They admit AI generated content might be inaccurate, misleading, or offensive. And if you get misled by one of them, oh well, it doesn't like. So this is just the wild, wild west, or whatever you want to call it.
My sister was involved, you know, when the actors unions were trying to renegotiate their contract. This was one of the issues. They wanted actors to allow studios to use their image that way. So imagine you're in a movie and now forever they can take your image from that film and then reproduce it into porn, into whatever movie they want, put you in the background of another film. Man. I mean, and for performers, for you guys, I mean, they're talking about, I would not put like a comedy routine on TikTok. I wouldn't do it because if you do it, they can use it. They can steal it. They can steal your image. They can steal
take
everything.
all of it. Yeah, all of it.
And they own it.
What you're listening to, what you're hearing is the new level of slavery. The new level of slavery. But tonight we got the keys, man. We got the keys. In fact, we don't even need the keys because we're not going to get locked up digitally because now we're learning.
It says it right here, it says the privacy policy is much more invasive than the terms and service because it details the specific data TikTok harvests and it just breaks down what they harvest. I mean, I can go
health
through so much
information,
your health information, communication, your digital footprint. Get this one. This one freaking tripped me out. It can, I'm not making this up. Keystroke patterns. They track the rhythm of how you type. This is often used to identify you even if you switch accounts. I go, wait, I have a rhythm in which I type?
Sure.
I said, what?
That's insane.
I won't get back into my TikTok because of it. And I'm like, that is, I mean, look, this list goes on and on. And this is the abbreviated version through AI. That was enough to make me go, oh, I'm good. And if you're complete.
I could play more of this, but I'm telling you, man, that's why it's important that we've got to get a trust. But I know most of you are asking, how do we get a trust? We kind of showed you how, just by using ChatGPT. Yes, I know AI, we can still use it for good. I showed us briefly how we can do it, but we've got a safeguard. See, more than selfies, we're reading now. More than selfies, safeguarding your digital legacy. How trust can preserve your social media afterlife. Oh my God. Trust can play a large role in managing social media accounts, posts, that word, man, I've got to learn how to pronounce that word. Sorry, forgive me. Providing a structured approach to preserve or memorialize an individual's digital legacy in a respectful and planned manner. Here's how trust can help. You see now why we're going to break down the matrix in relation to what we're going through today. Designating a digital executor. So you want to put that in the paperwork. Designating a digital executor. Put this in your paperwork. Get your pens and paper out, people. A trust can appoint a digital executor responsible for executing the trust maker's wishes. We're going to talk about whether we should make it revocable or irrevocable as well. Regarding their social media accounts, this person would follow detailed instructions regarding each account laid out in the trust. Specific instructions for each account. The trust can contain specific instructions for each social media platform, whether it's to delete the account, memorialize it, or download and save any important content. protecting privacy and legacy. Listen now, yeah. By detailing how social media accounts should be handled, the trust protects the privacy and the legacy of the deceased. Do you know why it took so long for them to get Jeffrey Epstein's files out? Now we know, because Epstein being a landowner, a property owner, do you think for 1 second he didn't know about trusts? Do you think Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump and them don't know about trusts? This is why it took so long, because when something is of a criminal nature or magnitude, then one's rights is forfeited under criminal law. But if you're not a criminal or under criminal investigation, then you stay private. That's why it took, one of the reasons why it took so long to get the Epstein files, because he put everything in trust. Listen, this can include removing sensitive information, managing direct messages, and controlling narrative around the person's digital remembrance. Oh my God. Legal authority. Having a trust in place gives the digital executor the legal authority to act on the behalf of a deceased. This is a good question, who is Jeffrey Epstein's digital executor? Oh my God. Go on Google. Someone in the chat, go and Google it now. Go and ask ChatGPT, who is or was Jeffrey Epstein's digital executor? And tell us in the chat what you find. Oh my God. Listen, let's carry on. This is important as social media platforms have strict policies regarding account access and management after the user's death. Ease for loved ones. By pre-planning the management of social media accounts, the trust spares loved ones from making difficult decisions during a time of grief. Ensuring that your digital photos and memories stay in a trust, making sure that the digital content is preserved for future generations requires strategic planning through a trust. This process involves several tips. Let's look. Inventory creation. People are creating things on AI now. Compile comprehensive list of digital memories, including photos, videos stored on various platforms such as cloud services, digital media, and physical devices like computers and external hard drives. Access information, document access information for each storage location, including usernames, passwords, and specific instructions needed to retrieve content. This step is important to ensure that the trustees are designated family members can access these memories when needed. So you may want your trustees to be family members, people. You may want your trustees to be family members. So specific instructions in the trust clearly outline how these digital assets should be managed in trust documents. Cryptocurrency, people, all of you. This can range from preserving them in digital format, printing out photos and physical albums, or even creating a digital archive accessible to designated beneficiaries. You may be thinking, why is this important? Why do I need to protect my digital ID? Someone put in the chat, why would you want to protect your digital ID after you've passed on? Yeah? Some of you have registered companies, and those companies can still go into perpetuity after you've passed away. But did you know what happened last week? Last Friday, firms urged to check if other users edited their data on company's house. Company's house. Remember, we said to register your companies if you will, but something happened at company's house where people's digital information can be accessed. See, how many of them are in a trust? How many of those companies have put their companies in a trust? Let's see what happened.
In general, with regard to digital identity and infrastructure and so on. All credit for the video to Dan Needle over here on X. Take a look at this.
This is the company's house dashboard. It lets you see the details of a company, edit details of the company. This is Tax Policy Associates. Of course, it's a company I own, so no surprise I can see it here.
Listen.
Here's the trick. I'm going to click File for a different company. Now, at this point, I could enter any company in the UK. I'd love to demonstrate this with Tesco or Marks and Spencer's, and why would I be committing an offence under the Computer Misuse Act? So I'm using a company which I have nothing to do with, but it's owned by a friend. He's given me his permission to do this, so this is authorised.
Oh my God.
Oh, can I type it? 09792296. The most difficult part is typing the number. Continue. This is the company, my friend's company.
Okay, you may not be able to see the screen, but what he's demonstrating is how he can get into other people's companies, yeah, and change the details of those companies by getting into company's house intranet. He can bypass certain security questions and get into other people's companies. And guess what happens? He can change the company details. He can change the filing dates. And that's also true with land registry. For those of you who have homes or mortgage, for those of you that have homes where you're renting or with a housing association, do you know what you should also put in a trust? Your land deeds. Your land deeds. You must put that in a trust. Family, don't ever, listen, you do have assets that you can protect. Put your land title, land deeds in a trust immediately.
Confirm and continue. Now, at this point, obviously, I don't have the company authentication code because I'm nothing to do with this company, so I can't possibly go forwards. What happens if I go back and back and back? And now I'm seeing the dashboard for my friend's company. I can see his personal email address. I can see his address.
Wow.
It's even worse because what I can do, I could file accounts. I can change things.
Oh, wow. What did I say? What did I say?
I can actually update his address if I wanted to. And we've tested this. We actually, in another video, the person who discovered the vulnerability, with my permission, changed my address at Company's House. I needed to update it anyway. It was actually handy. But
let's listen to this for a bit.
He should not have been able to do that.
So let me to explain just how bad this is. Now, Company's House is the government body responsible for maintaining the official register of companies in the UK. This includes information such as directors, company officers, shareholders' details, registered addresses, company filings, and there are roughly 5 million companies registered in the UK. Now, although much of the information held by Company's House is made public, obviously a lot of the information sits necessarily on a private dashboard that is obviously far more sensitive information that the public are not supposed to see, or anyone else is not supposed to see. This includes things like email addresses of the directors, contact details, home addresses in many cases, and other identifying information. Now, ordinarily, as a company owner, you would assume that when you log into your Company's House account, you can only see and access your own company information. This would seem like a very basic security requirement. But this discovery obviously marks a significant and rather basic flaw in the security system. In simple terms, it meant that simply by logging into a Company's House account dashboard, it was possible for the system to load another company's dashboard instead of yours, which meant that you could see information belonging to any unrelated company. This was not by hacking. It was not by bypassing security, inputting any code or anything of the sort. Simply by navigating in the browser. And if any of that worries you, even in the slightest, imagine how many companies, how many websites, how many systems have your data on it that might be using similar software that can get this so badly wrong.
Oh, did you hear that part? See, family, that's the solution. Excuse me, problem, rather. Fair use, black belt barrister. He seems to be coming more over to the common law side of things. He seems to be coming more over to our side. I don't know, maybe because people have caught whiff of it and now know what time it is. He's sounding like a lot of the people in the common law freemen of the land and all these other folks, yeah? But shout out to Black Belt Barrister. Yes, so family, this is why we need trust. Shout out to everyone in the room, man. Shout out to all of you in the space. This is why we need a trust, so you can put your names, your company names, your registered names under a trust. Yeah, and we discovered last Thursday you don't have to register it either. So let's crack on. Now, the solution to what Black Belt Barrister highlighted, the problem he highlighted rather, is I'm going to ask all of you for, doesn't matter, council tax, it doesn't matter, speeding tickets, it doesn't matter. Those of you who have registered with Companies House, go and ask for subject access requests. When you do that, you will find discrepancies whereby they've sold your name onto other companies, which then means you are entitled to compensation. And you would then go to the ICO, the Information Commission's office, with the evidence, and you can get a payout. There's some people that do this for a living because your data has been abused and misused and sold on. If you have a speeding ticket, then it's not the police that originally get the actual video footage, it's another private company. And they breached GDPR 2018. Same thing with council tax when they pass it on to enforcement. Same thing with Companies House right now. You can go and see, go and check on Companies House to see if you can log in to somebody else's details. Go and do a subject access request to see how they've handled your data if you've registered with Companies House. And trust me, when you put it in a trust, you have even more power. So tonight's subject is the living trust, an irrevocable trust versus a revocable trust. Pros and cons. The irrevocable trust or revocable, because a lot of us, we don't know, we're not sure.